How long are you going to keep me waiting? A loud male voice echoed as I approached the lobby in front of the hospital's front desk, just past the main entrance. This clinic operates on an appointment basis, sir. We already informed you that you would have to wait if you didn't have an appointment. The receptionist shot back, standing her ground. The other patients in the corridor watched the exchange with looks of annoyance on their faces. I couldn't see the man's face because he was standing with his back to me, but he was pounding on the reception counter and threatening the receptionist, shouting, "What? I'm a doctor. I don't have all day like those retired folks out there. Put me first in line." He was making a scene in front of the reception desk, effectively blocking it. I was at a loss as to what to do. Wow, what should I do? I had to pass by the angry man to present my medical card and insurance card to the receptionist, but the idea of getting close to him frightened me. There are 3 reception desks, but they were all halted, and there were several other patients holding their medical cards, like me, stranded and keeping their distance. The clinic I go to is a private one, but it's one of the largest in the city. The clinic has a reputation for having excellent doctors, especially the gastroenterology department, which draws patients from outside the city. Despite being a large clinic, the head doctor's policy is always to put the patients first. The clinic has a classy atmosphere and serene to accommodate patients who come in with various health concerns. Normally, patients can spend their time in the waiting room peacefully, and it's always very quiet. I've been going to this clinic for several months now for prenatal checkups, and this is the first time I've experienced such a commotion. My name is Judy. I'm 40 years old and 32 weeks pregnant. I'm a nurse, but I'm currently on leave because I'm expecting a baby soon. I've been divorced once and remarried my current husband 2 years ago. With a baby on the way, I don't want to take any chances. I decided to come back another day. Just as I made that decision, a receptionist called out from a distance, "I can assist you here." I breathed a sigh of relief and headed towards her. By the time I finished the reception, the man was sitting sullenly on the sofa in front of the reception. I was relieved that the commotion had subsided, but with the man sitting down, his face was clearly visible. I thought he looked vaguely familiar, and then it hit me. It was my ex-husband. Why was he here? I was shocked and frozen in place. I hadn't seen him once since we divorced 7 years ago. He looked much older than I remembered and seemed to have gained quite a lot of weight. The huskiness in his recent outburst was reminiscent of a heavy drinker, making him hard to recognize at first. But there was no doubt about it. Feeling my gaze, my ex-husband looked up. As our eyes met, I abruptly turned my back. I wished he wouldn't notice me, but it was too late. "Hey, isn't that you, Judy?" I was reluctantly compelled to turn around by the loud call of my name from behind. Seeing me, my ex-husband burst into a stifled laugh. "It really is you. I knew it right away because your face hasn't changed. You've always looked older than your age. But what's with that belly? Are you pregnant? At your age? Gross, haha." His insensitive words left me frozen. I had no time or opportunity to retort. He was laughing alone, and I couldn't see what was so amusing. Maybe he was venting his frustrations at me for not being given special treatment at the reception desk. He had always been like that. "Why are you here?" Instead of responding to his words, I asked a question. "Huh? Well, it's not important. Instead, did you get remarried? Which poor sap did you latch onto this time? Must be an idiot to fall for you. A total loser, I bet." Ignoring my question, he just belittled me. "You sure are skilled at berating yourself. You are my ex-husband, so you're basically saying that you're a total loser, aren't you?" I coolly responded, and my ex-husband's face turned beet red with rage. "That's why women, as they age, lose their charm and become useless. You used to be so meek and a big crybaby." Well, I hated being that person, so I changed. I'm not the same woman anymore. I won't be your punching bag anymore. When we were married, I was always the one who bore the brunt of his irrational anger. He was the worst kind of man, emotionally abusive to me whenever something bothered him. That was my ex-husband.
Damn, sassy. Women should just shut up and follow men. Like that stupid woman at the reception desk who, even when I told her to let me go first, kept insisting that she was following protocols.
Rules are rules. Of course they would prioritize reservations. Your clinic also works on a reservation basis, doesn't it? You used to boast about the 3-month waiting period being a given, didn't you? Back when we were married, my ex-husband was a doctor employed at a major beauty clinic. Assuming he hasn't changed jobs, he probably still works there. We had a workplace romance. He and I, a naive young nurse at the time. He was just looking for someone easy to have fun with, and I was the only one serious about our relationship. I got married because I was expecting a baby. My ex-husband pressured me to get an abortion, but I firmly refused. My parents and in-laws supported me, and even though we rushed into marriage, I unfortunately had a miscarriage. My ex-husband hurled abuses at me as I broke down crying from the shock, calling our shotgun marriage a marital scam and the biggest mistake of his life. Our married life thereafter was a living hell. Eventually, our miserable marriage ended after about 2 years. We hired lawyers, divided our property, I received alimony, and we got divorced. I fell into depression, and it took me several years to recover. In my new workplace, I met my current husband. Life is unpredictable. I got married, and now I am pregnant again. My ex-husband's clinic didn't take in drop-in patients either, if I remember correctly. I asked my ex-husband with a touch of irony.
It's better to let those airheaded women who use their husband's money or sugar daddy's money to get plastic surgery wait, right? They appreciate it more that way. It's a business strategy. A strategy.
As he said this, he was tapping his temple with his index finger with a smug smirk on his face that I found incredibly irritating. How awful! There are people who are insecure about their complexion and pay for surgery with their own savings. You're so insensitive. This is exactly why I divorced you. At the beginning of our marriage, I was too blinded by love to see it, but I detested his condescending attitude towards his patients, and how he only saw their insecurities as his source of income.
Humph, I paid you a decent amount to get rid of you.
That's true. I feel so refreshed now that our ties are severed. Hey, what's the fuss about? At that moment, a group of nurses, doctors, and security personnel arrived. Doctors who hadn't bothered to emerge from the office over troubles at the reception desk or with patients, but perhaps because the argument had gone on too long, they started to appear one after the other from consultation rooms. Perhaps one of the nurses had gone to call them. I felt relieved to have more people on my side. Meeting my ex-husband, having him say unpleasant things, and the memories of those times had filled me with unease and discomfort. It's okay. Everything will be fine. Out of relief, my mouth slipped, and I made an unnecessary statement at last. Judging by what you said earlier, you're here as a patient today, not a doctor. Aren't you ashamed to be causing a scene? You used to say that you kicked out any noisy patients. I should have ended the conversation and left right away, but I suddenly remembered our initial exchange at the reception.
Shut up! People have circumstances. It's none of your business.
Immediately, my ex-husband flared up in anger. I probably got on his nerve. He tried to retort but was lost for words, glaring at me because I had hit the mark. He focused on my belly, sneering with a smirk.
So, you're about 40, right? I don't know what's going on, but aren't you ashamed of getting pregnant at your age? It's just gross to see an old lady like you still wanting kids and doing the deed. I can't believe your husband is actually attracted to you. If he wanted kids, he'd certainly choose a younger woman. There's no guarantee an old hag like you can have a healthy kid. Or what? Is this another scam? Get married, have another miscarriage, then swindle some money out of him?
He lashed out, and now he seemed all satisfied, having yelled out words that would crush me. How dare you? You can't be serious. I barely managed to mutter those words. Out of shock, I could feel myself losing balance. When I got married to him, I was overjoyed about being pregnant and just wanted a happy life. But I had a miscarriage. But now at 40, I have even more concerns. Is the baby inside me healthy? And is it growing all right? Will I be able to deliver my baby without complications? Even if the baby had some disabilities, I would raise my kid with all my love. Despite the many people around, it felt eerily silent.
Anyway, a man who could choose someone like you can't be a decent one, can he? I'd love to see the face of your baby's father.
The veteran doctors who heard this began to tremble. Hey, stop it. How can you be so rude? That child in her belly. One of the doctors started to chastise my ex-husband.
Huh?
My ex-husband looked confused, but my current husband stepped in. I am the father of that child in her belly, and Judy's husband. My husband in his white coat walked up next to me. He must have rushed over as he was slightly out of breath. It's all right now. I heard the harsh words he said. Don't worry. I understand that you have many concerns, but you can take a break now and leave the rest to us. I was in shock, but my husband gently comforted me.
Huh? A doctor? Is your husband a doctor here?
My ex-husband was shocked, looking at me and my husband. Yes, that's right. My husband is the heir of this hospital and works as a gastroenterologist.
What? Your current husband is a gastroenterologist? So you're related to this hospital?
Well, yes. I answered lightly. As my husband joined me, I gradually regained my composure. When my husband gave my ex-husband a stern look, he explained, "This is a private hospital run by my father. Of course, we have many physicians on duty. Our family is full of doctors. My sister is a gynecologist. She is a competent female doctor, and I can trust her with Judy. Judy is currently on leave, but she's a great nurse too." After a pause, he continued, "I heard you are a doctor too. Earlier, a nurse circulated a questionnaire for first visit symptoms. As a fellow professional, I hope you understand. Could you please leave now?"
What? I've been waiting for 30 minutes.
My current husband immediately snapped back.
You came here without an appointment and caused all this fuss in less than 30 minutes?
He couldn't help but retort.
Shut up. I'm a doctor. I deserve to receive preferential treatment.
At our hospital, all patients are treated equally. You are not here as a doctor, but as a patient, and we do not provide any preferential treatment. Of course, we do prioritize patients in need of immediate attention, but you seem quite healthy. Your temperature is normal too. Even though he spoke calmly, my husband did not back down. Perhaps my ex-husband was desperate to see a doctor. He started to mumble his excuses.
Hold on, that's a problem. I heard this is the best cardiovascular department, and she's my ex-wife. She's used to my tone. She knows I'm joking, right, Judy? No?
I shake my head. No one gets used to verbal abuse. You don't talk to people like that as a joke. My husband immediately backed me up and turned to my ex-husband. I've heard about you from Judy before. Your emotional abuse and cheating was the reason for your divorce, and yet you're trying to hurt Judy again? As Judy's husband and a doctor, I cannot forgive you. I've been informed of what went on from my nurses, and I heard your loud voice on my way here, but don't you feel ashamed to hurl abusive language that degrades women and pregnant women in front of many patients, and to intimidate others just because things don't go your way? In the obstetrics and gynecology waiting room at the end of the corridor, there are not only pregnant women like me who are giving birth at an advanced age, but also many people who want a baby and are receiving infertility treatment. Please go home. We have an obstetrics and gynecology department here too. It's not just about Judy. It's wrong for our other patients to have an unpleasant experience because of you. We won't examine you here. And with that, my husband asked my ex-husband to leave.
Hey, are you discriminating against a patient?
This isn't discrimination. You're getting turned away because of your actions. I butted into my ex-husband's words. My husband nodded.
Huh? Don't joke with me.
We're not joking, we're serious. Now please leave. My husband pointed to the exit.
Hey, Judy, talk to him for me.
When my ex-husband said that to me, I replied coldly, "Go home already. I told you before, we've cut our ties. After the verbal abuse I've had to endure from you, why would I want to do anything for you? You can strut around here all you want, but no one is going to listen to you." I felt a sudden sense of healing within me. Watching my pitiful ex-husband now, I started to feel glad that I cut ties with this man and divorced him. My life has completely changed being with my current husband, who respects me and takes care of me, compared to when I was with my ex-husband, who looked down on me and made my life miserable. I don't think I'll ever see my ex-husband again, but even if I do, his harsh words won't hurt me anymore. I felt as though I finally cut ties with my painful past, which was lingering within me like a lump. Just then, from the crowd of visitors, a small voice yelled, "Get out!" That voice gradually grew louder, turning into a chorus of dismissal. My ex-husband, who had been swimming his eyes around and pondering his opinions, spat out his parting shot.
"I'm never coming back to this awful clinic. I hope you guys go out of business soon,"
and left the scene. Not long after, it was on the news that his beauty clinic was being sued one after another for malpractices. He'd always prioritized making money, forcing expensive treatments on patients rather than catering to their needs, and this had led to trouble. He was directly named in lawsuits and found himself in quite a predicament. Adding to his misfortunes, I heard rumors that he'd been admitted to a hospice. Despite being a doctor himself, he was neglectful of his own health and disliked hospitals. He never went for regular checkups, indulged in unhealthy habits, and brushed off any discomfort or minor ailments with self-prescribed medicines. But his condition had deteriorated beyond hope. After causing trouble at our reputable clinic, his treatment was delayed and he collapsed at his workplace. A thorough examination revealed that his condition was beyond help. This could be a classic case of a doctor not taking care of his own health. Bogged down by massive compensations and awaiting his end, what a pitiful state. Although this is none of my concern now, I can't help but think that he could have led a much better life. As for me, I gave birth to a healthy baby girl. I was worried about many things before she was born, but she was a big baby, just over 8.8 pounds. She's extremely lively, sleeps well, drinks her milk well, and is adorable. I'm busy taking care of the baby, and I feel that it's a waste of time to worry about things that have ended. Babies are truly adorable. Meeting her is like a reward for all the difficulties I've been through. I plan to cherish every day from now on, living happily with my respectful husband and